Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen me properly, as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Hello everyone, I hope that I'm live right now, guys. If you guys are able to listen me properly, as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please let me know. Yes, there's no issues with the audio or the video. Okay, great guys, awesome. So how was your day? How was your day, guys? Was your day good, great, amazing, not so good? What was the scenario, guys? What was the scenario? Great. Better than yesterday. Tomorrow is my last exam. That's actually a bit better to hear about. A little bit bowling, a little bit tense, all over good. Okay. Uh प्रियांश सर आप कौन सी सिटी में और कंपनी में जॉब करते हो सो प्रियांश करंटली आई एम लिविंग इन बैंगलोर बट द कंपनी दैट आई एम वर्किंग फॉर इज बेस्ड आउट ऑफ सिंगापुर so I have to go to their office. They have a very small office in Bangalore, but mostly it's work from home. That is the reason why I applied there. They pay really well. The name of the company I cannot say because I've signed an NDA with them. So I am not. I don't think so. I can say it. I will have to ask my boss at the end of the day. So once I ask them if they say that I'm allowed to say it, I will definitely let you guys know. Okay. So looking handsome, isn't he? Thank you so much, Ark. Thank you. Guys don't get compliments a lot, right? Usually if you are like, I don't know if about girls, but in guys, the friend circle that we already have, they will just start by abusing you. You are not said like, hi Shaurya, how are you? It's more like, arey beep beep beep, kya kar raha hai, beep beep beep. So yeah, that is how we get compliments, right? Like एकदम beep लग रहा है भाई, एकदम beep. Okay, so yeah, I'm very tensed because I'm a fresher. Neha, see, uh, it's good actually. If you're tensed, that means you're dedicated. At least you're thinking about your future. So what is the best way of actually not being tensed? By working on it. So whatever is causing a problem to you, work on that. Okay. So are you married or not? Dude, like what the fuck? Why would I be married? I have a dog, I love her, and that's it. Okay. So what is today's aim, guys? Do you guys remember what is today's aim? Please let me know. What is today's aim, guys? Please let me know. Deep learning. Good. Deep learning is the aim. So what is deep learning? Let's start with a very simple question, guys. Very simple question. What do you think when like right now? Let's assume we don't know anything about deep learning. Even I don't know anything about deep learning, guys. What do you guys think is the meaning of the term deep learning? Again, guys, you don't have to be correct in this. You don't have to be wrong in this. We are here to learn. We are here to learn what is deep learning. So what do you guys think is the meaning of the term deep learning, guys? Learning something in depth, okay. Basic about AI, okay. Natural language, okay. Sub part of machine learning, good, good. Okay, learn in depth, okay. Starboy, could you show us the proof that the certificates by Amazon collaboration with the companies? Because when we click the verify QR link, it shows a page of DevTown. That is something that I have personally developed so that if you are applying somewhere, you can get it verified. But yes, the certificates are from Amazon, because how will we get the Amazon certificates if not from Amazon? Just think about that, right? But yeah, if I'm able to find the MOU, I will just share that with you. Okay, mimics human brain. Okay, that's actually very, very right. CNNs, RNNs. Okay, that is very high level. Deep learning is a concept or based on neural activity of the brain that replicates in the computer. Okay, good. Type of AI teaches computers to mimic human brain. Good, great. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Okay, artificial intelligence. Everybody's like Chat GPT, all these kind of stuff, right? So like I said on the last first day of class as well, AI is just a field of study. It's a field of science. One of the subparts of artificial intelligence, like for example, if you take up physics, right? One of the subparts of physics will be something like electromagnetism or maybe mechanism, okay, or mechanical studies or something like that, or quantum physics itself. These are subparts of physics, right? For example, mathematics. The subpart of mathematics will be, let's say, arithmetics, and the subpart of arithmetics will be addition, right? In the exact same manner, artificial intelligence is your topic like maths. One of its subparts is machine learning, which is basically your, for example, arithmetics, right? A subpart of mathematics is arithmetics. In a similar way, a subpart of artificial intelligence is machine learning. Machine learning is those algorithms under artificial intelligence. There are multiple algorithms, right? Monte Carlo algorithm is there, then min-max algorithm is there. One of the subparts of algorithms that are dependent upon data to learn from. For example, when we learn, so there are two types of people in this world. One is people like Jesus, one is people like Buddha, one is people like somebody else who is in the same cadre of learning, in which they didn't need any kind of books or materials to learn from. What did they do? They just sat under a tree and they got a lot of knowledge inside of them. And the second part of people are like us. If we want to learn something, we need books, we need material, we need data to learn from, right? In the exact same manner, those algorithms under AI that need data to learn from, right? Those type of algorithms are called as machine learning algorithms itself. In a very small and very easy manner, I'm trying to make you guys understand this. And under machine learning, there is a type of algorithm that is based off the neurology of our human brain. Those algorithms are called as deep learning algorithms. Okay, so again guys, do not confuse this. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning are not three separate things. If somebody is telling you that, oh, learn deep learning or learn machine learning or learn AI separately to get a job, they are making a fool of you. Most likely they themselves don't know what are these three topics. These three topics are one and the same at the end of the day. Okay, so deep learning is one of the core crux that was the main inspiration for artificial intelligence. So when artificial intelligence was first introduced back in 1950s, around 1950s itself, the scientists and the researchers back in that day were like, okay, we need to create something that is intelligent and that is artificial in nature. So what is intelligent when you go around in your daily life? At that point of time in 1950s, the only intelligent being on the entire planet that was intelligent enough for the researchers to be to consider them as intelligent was the humans, right? Human beings. And why are human beings? Brains. If you remove the brain from a human body, it is just a like a lot of blood, a lot of meat. That's it. That is all that it is, right? So what makes humans intelligent? How does the brain actually work? The brain works through two neurons, right? There are millions and billions of neurons that are present inside of your brain, and that is what makes our human brain intelligent. So they were like, okay, we need to recreate the human brain artificially. So what is the basic unit that makes up the human brains? Neurons. So let us as well see how neurons are. Okay, so I will just share my screen in a second. Give me a second, guys. Right side, left side. Let's make this a little bit smaller. And let us open. I'll share my screen so that will make it a little bit more convenient for you guys. Share screen. Window. Share. Okay, I hope so that you guys are able to see the screen clearly. Please let me know. Are you guys able to see the screen clearly? See, if my video is live, it's fine. Okay, if my video, because I'm not that pretty to look at. Okay, we are here to learn, not to look at me. Right? So if you guys are able to see my screen clearly, if I am lagging or if I am not visible, it's fine. My audio should be coming in properly and the video should be looking right. I'm showing on the screen, guys. Okay, so let us delete this and let us come back to our favorite topic, that is deep learning, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to be the research 1950s. We are going to look at a neuron first of all. Many of you guys must have studied neurons in your biology, in your, like, I think so 8th or 9th standard itself, right? So could you guys name some of the parts of a neuron? I will draw a neuron for you guys. I want you guys to name some of the parts of the neurons because I don't know them. Okay, being very frank, I don't remember a lot of different names. So I'm going to ask you guys to name them for me. Okay, so let me just draw a very good looking neuron, which is not so conveniently on. So this is a particular picture of a neuron, guys, right? And let me draw the nucleus and let's just draw it out like this. Okay. So these, what are these called as? Okay, let me use some other color so that it's much more convenient for you guys to understand. I'm just pointing down the arrows. Okay, whatever I remember, I'm just going to write it down. So that is, I think so, it is called as the nucleus. Okay, this, I think so, is the dendrites, if I'm not wrong. This is the axon. And I don't know the meaning of this, right? I don't remember the name of this, so that is a mystery to me. Okay, so I'll call it as the X. Okay, I don't remember the name. So what if you guys remember what is the meaning of this? Just put up X is equals to and then the name of that, and I will just put that right over there. I don't remember the name. Okay. So how does a nucleus actually work? Right? How does the nucleus actually work, guys? So nucleus works in a very simple manner. You get inputs, okay, from other nucleus or maybe a muscle group or maybe a tissue itself in your body. Okay, you get inputs from that, and then the nucleus that is there, it basically processes that inputs, right? So you get inputs from the other parts of the body. Maybe it's another nucleus or another neuron, or it might be a muscle group or something like that. You get a particular input. Your neuron processes this input, right? The neuron processes this inputs, comes to a finding. It sends an output signal through the axon, and through these X's, it basically transmits those to other muscle groups or maybe other nucleuses or something like that. Do you guys agree on this or not? Please let me know. Do you guys agree with this or not, guys? Please let me know. Do you guys agree with this or not, guys? Please let me know. Yes, everybody is able to agree with this. Everybody is able to understand this. You get inputs from the other parts of the body, maybe other nucleons, other nucleus, or maybe other particular muscle groups or something like that. The nucleus basically takes up a decision. It processes these inputs. It sends an output through the axon, through the axis to other particular neurons or something like that. Now the researchers were like, okay, how can we create this mathematically? Because again, your computer is nothing else but just a particular processor that processes mathematics, right? So how can we recreate this mathematically? So they said, let this be our nucleus. Let this be our nucleus. This contains a particular mathematical equation that we don't know as of this particular point of time. It contains a mathematical equation that we don't know as of this particular point of time. What we know right now is that this nucleus will take in some inputs. Let that inputs be x1 and x2. Okay, so I'll use the same particular color combination. So let this particular inputs be x1 and x2. We can have multiple inputs as well. We can have 50 inputs, 200 inputs, 1000 inputs as well. But through the simplicity of our case, to understand it much more accurately, we are taking up two inputs right over here, x1 and x2. And we want an output from right over here, that is y. We want an output from the nucleus, that is y. Now this can be summarized as y would be equal to some mathematical function of f of x1 comma x2. Can I write it like this? Please let me know. This y, that is the output that is there, right? I can formulate it as a function of x1 and x2. I don't know the function right now. I have no idea what the function is. I just know that x1 and x2 का एक formula बनेगा, and that is what is going to be the equation of y. So what is the formula for a equation in two variables? This is something that is of like, I think so, 9th standard mathematics itself. Okay, what is the formula to write a particular function or an equation of two variables, guys? What is the formula? So y is equals to mx plus c is a particular equation of one variable. This is of one variable, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm being very fair and very clear with you guys. If you guys don't like mathematics, data science, artificial intelligence, all these topics are something that should not be your choice of field of study. It shouldn't be at all, because interviews are going to be mathematically inclined. Very mathematically inclined. Again, revising this for you guys, for those who don't like mathematics, who are afraid of mathematics. You shouldn't be, because these are very simple mathematical concepts. But if you are, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science is not for you. Okay. So many of you guys have absolutely said it correctly. An equation for two variables would be z is equals to ax plus by plus c. Okay, you can write it like this as well. Ax plus by plus c, guys. That is an equation of two variables. Now that is how I am going to refer to my x1 and x2. Okay, if I put x1 and x2 in the same equation right over here, what do I get? I get z is equals to ax1 plus bx2 plus c. Now a, b and c are basically representing some constant values. So I can write it down as anything. I can write it down as Shaurya x1 plus Nihal x2 plus Shruti, right? I can do like that as well. So let me just reframe this into some other numbers itself. So that will be y is equals to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. Again, this is just like I'm just using some other letters to represent a, b, c and z. I'm just using some other letters to represent a, b, c and z, guys. So are you guys able to understand how did I reach to this particular equation? Are you guys able to see, like understand how are we able to reach to this equation itself? Yes? Okay, great. You guys are smart. You guys are fast. So the same thing, the same equation, I'll try to represent it in this particular visual format. Okay, so x1 we will multiply it by w1, x2 we will multiply it by w2, and what are we going to do? We are going to sum it, right? So x1 w1 plus x2 w2 is equals to y. So this is the sigma like representation is basically of the summation representation in mathematics. That is how we are going to identify it, right? So x1 w1 plus x2 w2 is equals to y. Now we have got our final output. The problem is the y that we want to predict. It can be anything, right? It can be anything. It can be, for example, if I want to predict if a person lived the Titanic particular, like, so you guys know about the Titanic, right? So if you were a particular rich female or a rich kid, the probability of you surviving is very high. If you were a very poor man, then if you were there on the particular ship, you are going to die. Okay, the probability of you surviving is very low, right? So if I want to predict, like, okay, if I enter my details into a computer that this is my age, this is my gender, this is my current earning status, this is the part of the ship where I was living, okay, what am I going to survive it or am I going to die? Not of the probability, but am I going to survive it or am I going to die right over there? So there are only two options. Either I can survive, that is 1, right? I can survive, that is 1, or else I can die, that is 0, right? There are only two options right over there. I cannot be like when I enter my number, it should be minus 3.24. It cannot be like that, right? It cannot be 3.24 or minus 3.24. It has to be either 1 or 0 at the end of the day. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know. Yes? So this is where a problem started coming in, because this is an equation in two variables, right? W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus B. Now it can be anything. It can, I forgot about the B, right? So I have to put in the B as well right over here. So I will have this B as well that is coming in, right? Then the equation will be formed right over there. So now what I need to do is I need a particular function, okay, g of f of x1 comma x2, which makes sure, this g function makes sure that my output is always, the y is always going to be either 0 or 1. It should be nothing else. Should be either 0 or 1. Let's take up another example. If I want to predict what is the probability of it that is going to rain today. If I want to predict what is the probability that is going to rain today, if I take in the inputs where I'm living, what is the current temperature, what is the current humidity, okay, when was the last rain that was happening, what is today's dates. I take in all these inputs and I want to predict whether it is, what is the probability that it is going to rain today. My answer that is y should be in between 1 and 0. Should be in between 1 and 0. It should not be greater than 1. It should not be greater than 1. Right? Should not be greater than 1. X should y. I'm very sorry. Y should not be greater than 1. Y should not be less than 0 as well. It should only be between 1 and 0. But again, what is y? Y is equals to W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus B. Right? How can I make sure this y output always remains between 0 and 1? How can I make sure that this y always remains between 0 or 1? So for that, what I'm going to do is, whatever this output is, I'm going to feed in to another function. I'm going to feed it into another function, and this is called as activation function, guys. This is called as activation function that is going to help me keep my value in between 1 and 0. If you guys are not able to understand this, there is no other way of making you guys understand this. This is actually the most easiest thing in deep learning. Most easiest. इसके बाद अभी बैक ट्रैकिंग, बैक प्रोपोगेशन ऑफ वेट्स, पता नहीं क्या 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 आने वाला है. Alpha, beta pruning, then alpha test, alpha rate itself, then you are having your L1, L2 regularization. इसमें integration differentiation भी आ जाएगा. But I'm not going to go into that much depth. But still, this is the most basic thing that you guys need to understand. ये तो भाई 6th standard mathematics है. I'm not even talking about 10th standard, 12th standard mathematics, 6th standard mathematics. 6th standard के बच्चे को उठा के मैं पूछ लूंगा ना, ये सब चीजें समझा दूंगा, उसको भी आ जाएगा. So you guys need to understand this because you guys are going into college right now. So this is the most easiest thing that you guys need to understand. Okay? What is my final aim? My final aim is that my output should be in between 0 or 1. Or depending upon the use case, right? Depending upon the use case itself. It should be between, in this example, it should be between 0 and 1 right over there. So how can I make sure of that? By feeding my particular summation, whatever my equation was, W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus beta, into an activation function. An activation function is nothing else but just a basic function. Just a basic function, guys, which is going to make sure that my output always remains between 0 and 1. Okay. So let us take up a very simple example for this. Okay. One of the most easiest activation function is your ReLU activation function. Okay, I'm just going to take up this as an example because this is a function that you guys are going to use a lot. So I'm going to take up this example of ReLU activation function. What does ReLU activation function says? Y, Okay, this is basically g of x. Okay, this is the function right over there. So y or g of x would always be equal to x if x is greater than or equal to 0, and will always be equal to 0 if x is less than 0. This is the function, guys. This is a function. I'll draw it out for you if you want to see it in a drawn format. Till the point x is negative. Till the point x is negative, the value of y will also be 0. As soon as x becomes positive, the value of I would be equal to x. So x is equals, what? This is y is equals to 0 and this is y is equals to x. A simple equation right over there. So if I put x is basically the input that I'm giving right over here. Whatever the input is, if it is positive, it will be positive. If it is negative, it will be 0. A use case example for this will be your rent prediction. If I want to predict the rent of a particular house in a particular place, in a particular locality, I'm taking in inputs, for example, here x1, x2, that is what inputs are. So if I'm talking about the inputs, how many BHKs it is, in which particular city it is located, in which particular locality of the city is it located, okay, what is the crime rate around the particular house, how close is the nearest hospital, how close is the nearest school, okay. So all these inputs if I take in and I want to predict the rent of the house, it is always going to be positive, right? The rent of a house cannot be negative 45 rupees. The rent of a house cannot be negative 45 rupees, right? That means for staying there, your landlord is actually paying you. That's not going to be the case, right? Otherwise, that is the best case scenario for us. So either there should be no rent for the house, that is it's a free rental space by government or something like that, or there is a particular rent that is always positive, right? So this is a very simple example of a particular function, of a particular activation function called as ReLU. Now, how is it going to work right over there? So if I go back to our picture, right? If we go back to our picture, this was our particular nucleus. These were the inputs right over there, right? The inputs, that is our x1, w1, then x2, w2, right? And then your b right over here. And first we are going to do this summation for all these three things. There are two parts for this nucleus. First we'll sum of x1 w1 plus x2 w2 plus b, and then we are going to apply our activation function, that is ReLU. After that we'll apply our activation function, that is ReLU, and that is how we are going to get our final output. So that will be y is equals to, let us draw it out, w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. In the case when all this, I'm just going to write double quotation, is greater than or equal to 0. Downstairs. Where did it go? Is greater than 0, right? And it will be equal to 0 if, in the case, w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b is less than 0, right? So the answer is either going to be always positive or equal to 0 in this particular case. That is how you use activation functions. Again, there are a lot, okay, like you can use any function as an activation function to be very straightforward with you. For example, a linear activation function. I'll just draw some activation functions for you guys. Okay, so for example, a linear activation function is y is equals to x. Simple. Okay, y is equals to x. It will look something like this. Right, this is a linear activation function. Okay, then you are having sigmoid activation function, in which the answer is always going to be between 0 and 1. It is always going to be 0 and 1. Okay, between 0 and 1. So if you are going to use something, for example, finding a probability of something, then you're going to use a sigmoid activation function. Then you have already seen ReLU. There is something called as a leaky ReLU. Then you are having a step activation function, in which it is always going to be in steps like this. So there are multiple STEP step. Okay, there are multiple activation functions that are there that basically depends upon what kind of activation do you require according to your problem statement. Again, this is dependent upon your problem statement, guys. Okay, so whatever your problem statement is, on the basis of that, you will be using different kinds of activation functions right over there. Now let us come back to the topic on how do these neurons actually work, right? That is also a very important particular question for us. How do these neurons actually work? Okay, so we have got the equation, we have got everything, but how are they learning at the end of the day? So most of the algorithms that we will be learning this time are going to be something called as supervised learning. Okay, supervised learning. Supervised, what is the meaning of supervised in normal English, guys? Can you guys let me know? What is the meaning of the term supervised in normal English, guys? Can you guys let me know? Supervised, भाई supervised का meaning English में क्या होता है? Okay, controlled under supervision. Okay, to keep a watch, watching over. Exactly. Very good, guys. We want to keep a watch over what we are doing. Okay, so supervised learning is basically you learning under a teacher. A teacher is sitting there, he's guiding you, he's making sure that you are learning right over there, he's answering your questions, just like what we are doing right over here, right? It is a supervised learning. Unsupervised learning is basically you learning on your own. Okay, you learning on your own, that is unsupervised learning. So this is an example of supervised learning for when it comes to deep learning. Or supervised learning will be something like we are going to provide your AI with everything that it needs to learn. Let's take up an example. Okay, an AI needs to learn the AND gate. Simple. AI needs to learn how an AND gate works. Or let's take up something even easier. AI is going to, I'm going to give some data to the AI. So if x1 is, let's say 2. Okay, this is like only one input is there for the AI. Like there's no x2, there is only x1 right over here. So if x1 is 2, your y should be equal to 4. If x1 is 4, your y should be equal to 16. If x1 is 5, your y should be equal to 25. Okay, if your x1 is 6, your y should be equal to 36, and so on and so forth. Are you able to find a pattern in between them? Are you able to find a pattern in between them? This is just one input, so this is basically like this. X1 W1, okay, then you're having B right over here, you're having summation and then an activation function, and then you're having a Y right over there, right? So we as humans already know that Y is equals to X square. We as human beings already know that this will give us Y is equals to X square, right? But the AI doesn't know this right now. The deep learning doesn't know this right now. So what is it going to do? Okay, so we have provided both the inputs as well as the outputs to our AI. Let's imagine this. This is our AI. Okay, we have provided it with both the inputs as well as the outputs, so that it is able to learn from them. Think about it as a guidebook, right? You guys remember guidebooks in your childhood? Like you wanted to prepare for examinations in school, you used to get these guidebooks that had a lot of different questions and then answers, and you had to learn from them itself. So that is what we are giving to the AI. We are giving him the guidebook of some of the inputs and some of the outputs, and we are telling him that, okay, learn from it. Learn whatever you are able to learn from it. Okay, it might be a particular chance that the AI is not able to learn anything. Okay, we'll come back to that as well. That is where regularization or all that topics comes into place. Let's assume that we give the guidebook to the AI. Now what is going to happen is I'm going to ask him, what if I give an input as 8, what is supposed to be its output? Now in the data that I provided to the AI, there's no 8, right? Are you able to find any kind of 8 right over here? Are you able to find any kind of 8 right over here, guys? No, right? The data does not has 8. It is a question from outside our guidebook. It is a question from outside our guidebook. Now there are 3 possibilities that is going to happen. 2 possibilities. Either it is going to predict the right thing, that is 64. Okay, that means it has learned everything properly. Or it is going to give a random output like 4. It is going to give a random output like 4 right over there. That is, it has not learned anything from the data. It has not learned anything right over there. So this is the problem with the AI. AI has this particular problem, guys. What is the problem right over there? That the AI, think about the AI as just a student. This is our AI. It is a student right over here. We have given him a guidebook to prepare for his final exams. What is going to happen? Only three things are going to happen, guys. 1, 2, and 3. Either he is going to become what was his name? Funsuk Wangdu. What was his name right over there? Ranchor Das Shamal Das Chachad. Ranchor Das Shamal Das Chachad. Okay, either he is going to become Rancho. Okay. Either he's going to become Rancho, right? He will learn everything properly. He will try to understand the things properly itself. And then when he goes to the exam, he's going to do well because he has learned everything properly. Or the second particular part is he can become Chatur. That he memorizes all the particular questions and answers. He has not learned anything. He has not learned anything from the data set. He has just memorized everything. Everything is like rote learnt. If you ask anything from that guidebook, he will be able to give you the correct answer. But if you ask anything from outside the guidebook, he will not be able to give you any answers. Why? Because he has not learnt anything. He has just memorized things, okay? And the third particular person, that can be either Farhan or Raju. Okay, both of them are not doing good. Either he can be like Farhan. What did Farhan do? Farhan was like, I don't want to learn anything. I'll just flip through the pages. Yeah. Ho gaya bhai. And he'll keep the book aside. That's it. He has not learned anything right over there. So even if you ask a question from the particular guidebook, he will not be able to answer anything. Because why? Because he hasn't learned anything from that. He has neither memorized, not learned anything from that as well. So even if you ask questions from outside the guidebook or from inside the guidebook, he is going to fail at the end of the day. Now to solve this particular problem, there is a concept called as regularization that comes into picture. Okay, so there are L1 and L2 regularization. This is a little bit of higher level for you guys, but I'm just giving you a gist of it. Like there are multiple ways of solving it, okay, but one of the most famous ways is using regularizations itself. But that is the point. Okay, this can happen with your data set. Okay, that is the reason why we use regularization right over there. So how is the AI actually learning? What is the scenario in which it is able to learn right over there? Okay, so the AI is going to do one thing. It has got X1. It has got Y. It's going to initialize W1 as a random number. It can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 3, it can be 165 as well. It is randomly going to initialize W1. Okay. Again, usually in the case of normal deep learning concepts, it will be initialized as 0. So what will be the equation? Okay, if you plot down the equation right over there, what will be the equation, guys? The equation will be y is equals to mx plus c, right? So y is equals to m ka value we are taking up at 0, x ka value we are taking up as x, okay, and then plus c. Now it will start predicting it. Okay, this is an hypothesis that the AI is creating. Okay, c, let us assume it has initialized it as 6. Random initialization, we don't know. It has initialized it as 6. We don't know how it is initializing. Let's assume it take up the value of c as 6, guys. So it will then plot this up on a particular so for example, what will be the value of, let's say we'll plot x1 and y once again, 2 4 3 9 4 16, let me scroll down a little bit more, 5 25, and this is y dash, guys. This is what y that the AI is currently producing. This is the y that we require. This is the y that is being predicted. Okay, so what is the predictions that it will be making? That is, for every value it will be just 6. Are you guys able to understand? Because y dat is equals to 0x plus 6. All the values will be equal to 6, right, guys? This is the prediction by the AI. Prediction by AI. Okay, prediction by AI. So if 0 has been initialized as W1, the X will be like you will get 6666 everywhere, right? Now what is the error that you're getting? So what is error, guys? What is error? Let's forget about AI. Let's forget about everything else. What is error according to you? What is error according to you guys? We don't know anything about AI. Fuck AI. Okay, what is error according to you guys? Mistake? Bhai, if you guys wanted to buy a particular stuff for 100 rupees and by mistake you pay 200 rupees, what is the error? 100 rupees ka error aa gaya bhai. That is the 100 rupees error that you are getting right over there. So here what is the error? What is the error right over here? The difference between what we wanted from the AI and what we got from the AI is basically your error. What we wanted from the AI and what we got from the AI is basically your error right over there, right? So what is the error right over here? This is -2, this is 3, this is 10, and this is let's say 19. These are the errors. So here what we are doing is we are basically doing y minus y hat. Simply we are doing y minus y hat. Okay, that is the error that we are getting. So for this particular equation, what is the net error? For this particular equation, what is the net error, guys? Just add all these errors up. That is the net error. So what is the net error right over here? That is 30. 30 is the net error. Is the net error, right guys? So for if we take W as 0, W1 as 0 and we take C as 6, in that particular case, the error that we are getting is 30. The error that we are getting is 30. Now pay attention to this. Here the error is -2. Here the error is 3. What is our ideal scenario? What is our ideal scenario? The error should be 0. Maje hi maje. Right? That meme is there. That guy is getting very popular on Instagram. I should stop using Instagram right now. So, maje hi maje ekdam. If the error is 0 right over there, arre bhai sahab, we are able to predict everything accurate. Use this in the stock market, earn billions. Be greater than Elon Musk. Right? But that is not going to be the case. Right? Why? Let's see. There is a problem with this. There might be a particular scenario in which errors cancel out each other. So we are getting -6 as the first error, 6 as the second error, 3 as the third error, -3 as the third error. Although error is there. Error is there in every single data point itself. But what is the net error? 0. And you are like, arre maje hi maje. All our particular answers are correct. We are 100% accurate. No error in our particular programming. But there is error. In every single data point you are having an error right over there. -6 is an error, 6 is an error, 3 is an error, -3 is an error. So you are having error everywhere. But your net error is 0. How can we make sure that this does not happen with us? We are smart. We are good people. We are able to see this. We are like, okay, this is something where we are getting error. Although we are able to see there is no error. So how can we make sure that this does not happen? This is happening because you are getting errors in negative as well. There's no point of negative errors. What is the point of negative errors, guys? No point in having negative errors. That error is also an error itself. So it is cancelling out the positive errors. So instead of doing y minus y hat, we can do mod of y minus y hat. Or we can do y minus y hat the square. We can do this as well. We can either take the mod of the error. So all these will get converted into positives. This will become 6. This will become 6. This will become 3. This will become 3. Now our net error that we are getting. Now our net error that we are getting is 18. Right? So now our particular model has error right over there. Or we can take up the square. A square of a negative number is a positive number. So that is also going to work for us as well. right? So we'll go back, we'll remove all this and we'll change this, guys. We'll change our error right now. We'll change our error to be mod. Just an example, guys. Again, there are multiple ways of doing it. This is just an example to make you guys understand the importance of error. So all this will become positive for us. So now what is our net error, guys? Now what is our net error? Our net error will be 34, right? Our net error will be 34. That is going to be a new error right over there. Let us plot it out. Okay, I don't like numbers. इंजीनियरिंग में डिस्क्रीट मैथमेटिक्स 2 करके ना, मैथमेटिक्स से तो दिल उठ चुका है मेरा. ठीक है, सो लेट्स डू वन थिंग, लेट अस प्लॉट इट आउट. सो फॉर सम पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू of W1, C, we are going to plot the error. We are going to plot the error. So error is here and your W1, C is here on the x-axis. Let us plot our error. Our error right now was 34. So I'll put it here. Okay, for this is the value of where W1, C is basically 0, 6. Okay, let's take that into consideration. This will be in 2 dimensions, guys. I'm just showing it in 1 dimension because it is a little bit easier to explain to you guys, right? So again, W1, C would be in 3 dimensions. So that will be one plane, and then your error would be on the Z axis itself, and it will be a 3-dimensional curve that you will be getting. But I don't give a fuck. I just have to make you guys understand the basics of the mathematics that is going on here. Okay, I'm not even showing you guys the equations. Actually, the equations are very important from the perspective of interviews. But again, because I want you guys to get the intuition behind it and not be like... So that is the reason why I'm showing you guys the representation of that. Okay. So again, now what the AI is going to do is, it is going to change the values of W1 and C again and again. It will make W1 1, it will make C 5, and will plot the errors that it is getting every single time. So again, it will plot one of the particular other points. It will plot another particular point itself, right? Here it will point another point. Here it will point another point. Again, what it is doing is this is something that the AI is able to control. W1 and C is the only thing that the AI is going to control, because X1 and Y has already been provided to it. X1 and Y has already been provided to it, right? So only W1 and C is something that it can change a little bit. So it is going to continuously keep on changing it, keep on changing it, keep on changing it to get this curve. It will get a curve something like this, okay? It will get a curve something like this. If you plot this curve out, you're getting something like this right over here, right? You're getting something like this right over here. What is the lowest point? This is the lowest point, right? This is where your error is minimum. Now, this is a particular curve, and if you want to find what is the minima of the curve, do you guys remember it? How to find the minima of a curve? Minima of a curve. Do you guys remember it? Again, this is, I think so, from 10th standard or 11th standard, if I am not wrong. Dude, this is like 10th standard, 11th standard. You do a derivative of a curve and then you equate it to be equal to 0. That is where the particular tangent will be having at 90 degree. That is how you get the minima of a particular curve itself. Just differentiation is more than fine to get the minima of a curve, right? So again, not so like relevant right over here, but again, I wanted to tell you guys the mathematics behind it. So basically, it will plot this curve, it will get the minima of the curve itself. This is the value of W1 and C that it needs. This is the value of W1 and C that it needs. What is the minima? Where the curve, where your error is the lowest. Think about minima as that. Minima is the point where the error is the lowest. Using that curve, it can figure it out, if you don't know, using differentiation. Okay, so that is how it figures out what is the minimum error that is possible. and what is the values of W1 and C that is needed to get that into action. And that is how it does it, right? Now, how does it plot this entire curve, right? That is not something that is simple, right? You cannot plot this curve like I did, right? Just connect the dots and voila, your plot is ready. That does not work like that, right? Secondly, this is not the right curve. If you guys, do you guys agree with me or not? This is not the right curve. Look at the equation. This is the equation that we are having right now. Y is equals to mx plus c. This is a linear line, guys. This is not a curved line. So this is not how it will be plotting it up, because that is not the equation that we have taken it up. So the actual plot will actually be a lot more different. Okay. The actual curve will look something like this. Let me remove this for you guys so that you guys are able to understand it. The actual curve, it will initially plot would be something like this. It will be a straight line. Now you want to find a particular line that is the best fit, that will get us the lowest error. How is that going to happen? Now this is not what it is. Okay, so we will have a particular another plot that will be there. This plot will be in between the values of W1 and C and the values of Y. Okay, that is the plot that we are going to do. So these are the values that we want from our particular AI, right? So these are the values. I'll just copy the same particular values. I'll just post it up right up here. I'm very sorry. So it will look like a parabola, because this is basically we are having x square, right? So it will look like a parabola right over there. Now what is going to happen is you want to predict, okay, based on your W1 and C, these will be your predictions. Okay, these will be your predictions right over here. Now this prediction should give you the minimum error possible. The minimum error possible, guys. How can we do that? We'll find the distance. So if this is our prediction, guys, think about it. If this is our prediction, this is our y hat is equals to 0x plus c. Okay, something like that. Okay, just take it up as a random number. Okay, we'll plot it up like this. I'll just use the original line itself so that you guys are able to understand. This is y hat is equals to 0x plus 6, guys. This is y hat is equals to 0x plus 6. How to find the error for this particular line? Can somebody let me know? We need to plot this particular plot, right? For that, we need to find the error for every single data point. How to find the error, guys? How to find the error? If this is our prediction, right, that for this particular values of W1 and C, this particular values of X, right over here. I'm very sorry for that. With this particular value of X, okay, we are getting this particular value of Y. How to find the error from this particular plot? Can somebody let me know? How to find the error from this particular plot, guys? Can somebody let me know? For values of X, we are plotting the values of Y. This is our current prediction. We want to find the perfect line that is going to give us the minimum error possible. Least distance from the error. So what we're going to do is we're going to plot this particular line. So okay, just plot perpendicular lines right over here. So this is your Y, right? Y1. Let's consider this as Y1. The plot where it is hanging up perpendicularly, that is your Y hat, right? So that is the difference that we want. That is Y1 minus Y1 hat. That is what we want at the end of the day. That is our error. And slowly and steadily with respect to the above, what happened? Where did it go? Slowly and steadily with respect to our error and the particular values of W1 and WC, we are going to get the particular values that we want to get the minimum error, the least error possible. The least error possible, guys. That is where the tangent concept comes into place. This is just a plot of our prediction. So whatever line that will get, whatever values of x1 and c will be getting from that tangent, that will be the minimum line possible. That will be the minimum line possible, guys. So it will look something like this. This is the line that we will be getting according to that values of W1 and C, guys. So we'll not get the parabola, we'll get a straight line because we are using y hat is equals to W1 x1 plus C, right? So we'll get a line like this, and this will be the line with the minimum possible error. This will be the line with the minimum possible error, guys. Okay, if you add all these lines up, you'll get this particular error, whatever is the minimum error possible. Okay, you will get this particular error, that is the minimum error possible, guys. That is how deep learning actually works. Now, this is just for a single neuron. This is just for a very small neuron itself. As you're able to see, a small neuron will not be able to make that good of a decision because it is going to use linear lines and everything. So, and your brain as well does not have a single neuron, right? Your brain, if it was just one neuron big, you will become like my dog. Like I'm very sure she has just one neuron that is there that just identifies whether there is food in your hand or not. That's it. That is what it has right over there. I'm very sure of that. But we are smart, right? We are smart. We don't have one neurons. We have multiple neurons right over there. So when you do this particular same thing with multiple neurons, okay, thousands, millions of neurons right over there connected to each other, the inputs coming in here, the output for this neuron is the input for so many different neurons itself, the output for these neurons are the inputs for other neurons, and so on and so forth. You find a very complex system of mathematical equations that becomes so complex that people treat it as a black box, that we don't give a fuck about what is happening inside of this particular neural network. Again, this is the technical term for this is neural network, guys. I don't give a fuck about what is happening in the neural network, but yes, all these concepts that I explained for a single neuron, that is something that you need to understand for your interviews. Because in your interviews, these type of questions are going to be asked. What is back propagation? How does it work? How does the weights shift? How are the weights changed? How are the weights initialized? Okay, can you initialize the weights? So slowly and steadily, if you guys are going to learn these particular technologies properly, you have to dive a little bit deeper. I'm just explaining you guys on the layer itself. There are a lot many number of layers, but I will not be able to cover everything in this one particular class. So again, this is where the concepts of deep neural networks or perceptron model or your fully connected perceptron model, multi-layer perceptron model, these are all different names for the same thing comes into place. Okay, so for us, are you guys able to understand till this point of time? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand till this particular point of time, guys? Please let me know. Today the explanation went way beyond what I was thinking about. I thought it will be completed in 30 minutes, but it went way beyond that. So tomorrow what we're going to do is, tomorrow in the first half, we're going to create a very simple implementation, practical implementation of an ANN or an artificial neural network itself. That is what I explained right now. That is multiple layers will be there, multiple neurons will be there in every layer practically. Okay, using something called as TensorFlow. There are currently two major libraries that are there, TensorFlow and PyTorch. These are the two particular ones. For a fresher, for placement purpose, TensorFlow is more than sufficient. Okay, you don't have to deal with PyTorch right now. But if you are a working professional, you are already working in the industry for at least 1.5 years, then you need to know both TensorFlow and PyTorch. Okay, and you need to have an expertise in one of them. But for a fresher, only one of them is more than sufficient. Go further with TensorFlow. You don't have to do both of them. Do not get confused. Whatever anybody says, just don't listen to them. Just learn TensorFlow properly itself. The latest version of TensorFlow is 2 point something. Okay, so we are going to use the latest version of TensorFlow as well right over there. There will be multiple new concepts that will be taking place, that will be coming up in our tomorrow's class. Everything I will be explaining line by line, word by word, what it means, why is it used right over here, everything. And tomorrow we'll finish it up in the first particular half itself. Think about TensorFlow as to create these neurons, right? You don't have to write the mathematical equation. You don't have to write the code to create these neurons. TensorFlow just tells you that, okay, I've created the neurons for you. I've created the slots for you. You want to create a ANN. Just focus upon creating the architecture. Just focus upon how many neurons do you want, what type of activation do you want, okay, what type of regularization do you want. You don't have to think a lot about, okay, how does the neuron work, whatever summation do I need to use, whatever equation do I have to use, nothing. All that will be pre-made for you. You just have to use it to create the neural network. Okay, so that will be the aim of tomorrow's class, guys. I hope so that you guys will be coming up in tomorrow's class with a notebook and a pen, because again, practical is going to happen tomorrow. I want you guys to focus upon it very, very, very much, because if you miss out on the practicals and you're not focused upon the practicals and you're not practicing after the class, then there's no point of attending these boot camps. I'm pretty sure you can spend your time a little bit greater, maybe watch some anime. I'll give you amazing anime suggestions as well. I'm a huge anime fan, I'm a huge Marvel fan, I'm a huge DC comics fan. Okay, so that is also something that I do. So I will give you great suggestions for movies as well, except horror. I've never watched any horror movie in my entire life. I've just watched Bhool Bhulaiya 1 and 2 as my horror movie. Okay, so make sure you're coming to tomorrow's class on time, and make sure that you guys are going to learn everything properly. Practice everything after the class. If you're not practicing, again, there is zero point in coming to the class, spending 60 minutes in the class itself. 0 point right over there. You're actually wasting time. Use it to watch at least 4 episodes. Minimum, if you to watch it at 2x, you can watch 6 episodes of an anime at once. Right? So, take that up into consideration. Okay. Let me provide you guys with the attendance for today's class. Don't watch One Piece. One Piece is just way too long for a newbie to start. That will be my suggestion to you guys. You can watch Demon Slayer. You can watch this Asta as well. What was the name of that? Black Clover. That amazing anime right over there. If you want something funny, you guys can watch like Irumakun Demon School. That is also a great anime. Classroom of the Elites. Good animes right over there. Okay. AOT. Amazing anime. Okay, Solo Leveling I have not yet watched. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Berserk I've already watched. High School DxD I've already watched. Solo Leveling I have to watch. Okay, so many people are saying it, so I think so. I have to watch that. Okay, somebody's saying Doraemon. So yeah, that too I've watched. Okay. Let me do it for you. Day 3. Here as well, day 3. Death Note, yes, I've definitely watched that. That is one of the first animes that I ever watched. Spy X Family, definitely, yes, I've watched that. Pokemon, I've watched a lot of Pokemon, man. I had a collection of 23 Pokemon, small Pokemons at my home, right? And in every house party, some fucker took some of them. So now I only have 2 right now. Okay, Dragon Ball Super, amazing anime right over there as well. So I provided you guys with the attendance. The attendance link will be closed exactly at 9:25. Please start filling up your attendance right now. How do I start coding? I have basic knowledge of Python but not able to practice much. Then just practice. Just take up a project. Do not think about it. Do not take a YouTube course. Do not take any course for learning a project. Just take up a project. Just do Google search. Try to build a project on your own. That is how you learn. That is actually how you learn. Okay. And when we'll start working on the actual project OYO object detection, that will be in the 6th or 7th day. Because this is a lot to cover before that. Right. 6th or 7th day we'll start working upon the project. So like I said, guys, please start filling up the attendance. The attendance link will be closed exactly at 9:25. We'll be meeting in our tomorrow's class and we'll continue from right over there. Jujutsu Kaisen, of course I've watched it, man. Jujutsu Kaisen, I love it. Okay. Okay, so we'll meet in our tomorrow's class. We'll continue from right over there, guys. I hope to see you guys on time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, 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 guys. Bye-bye.